You want to learn boxing from the ground up, from beginner to advanced techniques? I'm Dan Woodgate from Shadowbox Media, and this is boxing. Okay, so we're learning boxing from the ground up. The best place to start is your stance. Getting your footwork right, getting your balance right, building off of a good base is what boxing's all about. Building shots on top of bad form is always going to produce bad results. Get this right, everything you build on top of it is going to be the best it can possibly be. Think of it like a house. If I build a house with poor foundations, or I don't get the foundations right on that house, I could build the most beautiful house you've ever seen, but eventually that house is going to fall down, it's going to fail, cracks are going to start to appear. We don't want that when we're boxing. So we build a good foundation, and everything we build on top of that can be the best it can ever be, rather than working off of poor form down here and then finding out little ways down the line that we need to make some adjustments. So we start with a stance, start with the footwork, start with the movement, and then we go from there. So building that good foundation all comes with good stance and good footwork. How we find our stance is, depending on what hand you're hitting with, is I'm an orthodox fighter, so my jab is my left hand. So I step left foot forward. Okay? There's ways of knowing whether you're standing in the right position or not. Well, I'm going to show you some of them ways now. So left foot goes forward, my right foot goes back. What you see a lot in a lot of fighters, that their back foot will end up like this. Okay? We want to keep our foot roughly pointing forward, because in this position here, as we'll learn going forward, as we start being a bit more advanced and learning putting our shots together, this actually limits what we're doing because of the position it puts our legs in and our hips in. Okay? So we want to keep our foot roughly facing forward in a good position. We want a bit of movement, a bit of distance in between our knees and a bit of distance in between our feet. So we're not standing square on, and we're not standing too parallel. We're going to try and find a happy medium somewhere in between that. So once I'm in this position here, the basics of footwork is forward, backwards, left, right. You always go with the lead leg. So if I'm going to go forward, I'm going to go with the foot that's planted in front, which for me, being an orthodox fighter, is my left leg. If you're southpaw, it'll be your right leg. So, moving forward, I'm going to always lead with that front foot. Lead, lead. Backwards is always going to go with the lead foot. If I go right, I'm going to go with my right leg. If I go left, I'm going to go with my left leg. What you'll find, as you do this, your feet will fall out of position. So we need a way of making sure that we're getting back to the exact position we should be in each and every time. If you put a line on the floor, or as you can see in this ring here, there's lines on the floor. I can line myself up over this. I know that if my heels are over the back of this line, if the back of my heels are touching this line, then I know there's not enough distance in between my legs. So what I do is I come roughly 6 inches either side of the line, and that's my comfortable position. That's where I need to be. As far as forward and backwards goes, as far as distance between the toes and the heel, it's whatever suits you really. Everyone stands differently because different stances produce different results. But again, if my heel's touching this line here and my toes are also touching this line, more than likely my feet are too close together. So I'll take a little step back, a little step forward. On this cross here, like I say, I'm roughly 6 inches either side of the line with my feet. Forward and backwards, roughly 3 or 4 inches in front of the line with your left leg or your lead leg, and behind the line with your rear leg. That there gives me a nice solid base to be able to start working off of, okay? As I said, as we move, we always go with our lead leg. So it'll be, for me, left leg forward, right leg back. If after I've moved a few times, I get a little bit out of position, I can always go back to this cross, these lines, and set myself up again. I go here, so I know I'm in a nice position again. 6 inches at the front, 6 inches roughly at the back, 3 or 4 inches forward or back between this line. I know I'm in I've got a good solid base there to work off and start throwing my punches off. Okay, so I'm going to go through a little technique that I use with people that I'm coaching, how to get their footwork right, and then what we do is what I call we reset. This is our reset default position. So forward, lead leg, forward, lead leg, left, lead leg, right, lead leg, back, lead leg, back, lead leg. And apart from a little bit out of position, I'm in pretty good position. But if I wasn't, again, I'd reset, go on those lines, and I'd do that over and over and over and over again until without the lines, I can shake off, relaxed, and I'll naturally go into that position. Okay, so I know if I put myself here, without even looking, I'm roughly going to be where I need to be. It looks good to me. So just a few key points about the stance. Find that line on the floor so you can set yourself up roughly about 6 inches either side. Obviously this is going to be height dependent. If you're a really tall fighter, your centre of balance is going to be a little bit wider than someone who's quite a short fighter, but roughly 6 inches either side of that line. And then if you've got the cross, get your feet roughly 3 to 4 inches in front, 3 to 4 inches behind. Find a good solid base from that there. With the footwork, going with the lead leg first. So if you're going forward, it's going to be your front leg. If you're going backwards, it's going to be your back leg. If you're going left, it's going to be your left leg. If you're going right, it's going to be your right leg. So once you've done your moves, once you move forward, you move back, you move right, you move left. Once you're comfortable doing that, remember, reset yourself, go again. The more times you get yourself in that good position, the more likely you are to make it your default position when you stand. So rather than getting further down the line and realising that your base isn't quite good enough to build the complex shots that we can go on to, getting this right now is vitally important for your progression. A good stance is key to a good foundation to build all of your shots on top of. So getting this right is absolutely vital, especially at this stage when we're just learning. I'm Dan Woodgate with Shadowbox Media. You can find me over at danwoodgate.com or Dan_Woodgate on Instagram. Like and subscribe to the channel and keep your eye out for more tutorial videos coming soon.